All right, welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the Pepman, Matt Morrow, and we've got a lot to talk about tonight. We got a full docket on the show. We're going to start the show talking to a very talented young man from Walkertown High School. Stick around after the intro for that, and then we'll get into all of the Pepman's players from games that were just all over the place this past week because of the crazy weather that we had last Friday night. We'll get into a little bit of ducking smoke, the weather games edition, updated rankings from the Dirty Dozen, CMS Best to Last. We'll have a topic for the panel talking about why does North Carolina not support high school football like other states. We'll do a few week 3 game previews, our game predictions, and we'll finish with slime time. So sit back, relax. We'll run the intro, then we'll be right back with that special player interview. Be right back.
Y'all ready to work?
Yes, sir.
All right, good. Let's wake up now. It's time. It's time.
Your stepping down kind of caught them by surprise. So, yeah, can you kind of tell us what went into your decision to step away from coaching right now?
These early offers are what they call contingency offers, meaning the offer is contingent on certain things happening down the road, like a corner growing 1.5 inches.
Let's not undersell this thing. A lot of coaches use this as a recruitment tool. I've lost several players because of 7-on-7, and that's fine. You know, kids choose where they want to go, but at the same time, that wasn't the intent of doing 7-on-7.
All right, we're back once again. Welcome to Football Focus Weekly. I'm the pet man, Matt Marr. You see the rundown we're going to have on the show tonight. But now we are going to bring on a very talented wide receiver from Walkertown High School. He is leading the state of North Carolina in receiving yards with almost 700 receiving yards in only 2 games. Who is this young man, you might ask? His name is Mitron Curry. We're going to bring him on the show right now. Mr. Curry, how you doing?
I'm good. How you?
Doing great, man. Doing great. So, as I said, you're leading the state of North Carolina in receiving yards with almost 700 yards in only 2 games, man. What's been the key to your success so far this season?
The key is the team and our quarterback. He been working, and our coach, he been drawing up the plays to get us in the right spots and get me in the right spots to get open and make plays.
Absolutely. And then you're at 350 yards receiving for the season. And you talk about the plays that you're being drawn up for. What's one of your favorite plays that you like to kind of get open and make some things happen on?
It's definitely a smash cop.
Okay.
Yeah, it's like a corner post.
Okay. Yeah, nice. Yeah, I saw some of your agility and some highlights, man. It's really impressive. Good stuff, man. What do you like most about playing for Walkertown this season?
I like how the coaches are all together this year, and the team is together, and like we're fighting through adversity, like different games, and it's way better than last year.
All right, awesome, man. What would you say is the biggest difference between the team last year and this year?
I would say the energy's up more, and like more people came out to play this year than last year.
Okay, all right, good. Those are really important things for sure. My last question for you, man. What are some things you like to do off the field? What is Mitron like, in his spare time? You like to get on Madden or the college football game, or what are you really about off the field?
Yeah, I play the game every now and then, but most of the time I just go to the gym with my friends and play basketball or just hang out with family.
Okay. Very good, man. Very good. So when you do play the game, I like asking this question because it gives a lot of perception into how you guys view yourselves. What would your overall rating be in NCAA college football 25?
I give myself like a 90.
90. Okay. Oh,
Yeah.
that's pretty good. That's pretty good. What would your best attribute be? Would it be speed, agility, catching?
Agility.
Agility, yeah.
Yeah.
Based on the highlights I saw, yeah. Definitely true, man.
Yeah.
Well, Mitron, I think you're doing great things, man. I just wrote about you. You didn't know that, but I just wrote about you on Prep Reds on North Carolina. So
Hmm.
you'll see that soon. And we really appreciate the time, man. Thanks a lot. Keep doing great things up at
Thank you.
Walkertown.
Thank you for having me.
Absolutely, man. Appreciate it.
Sir.
All right. That is Mitron Curry, wide receiver at Walkertown High School, currently leading the state in receiving yards. And I'm going to bring on his OC, Coach Ian Tatum, because I'm going to ask him what he's doing to get him all these yards.
Hey man, like Mike's a special player, man. He's by far, he's a leader of our team. He comes in, he puts his head down, goes to work. Very special, very under recruited. I think one thing, I told this to some guys, if he was 6 foot, he would be having all these offers. So really trying to showcase his speed, man. Trying to, his best attributes, his ball skills and speed. Try to give him the ball any type of way we can, man.
Yeah, and I think this guy right here that's commenting. Says that's my dog.
Yeah, that's my head coach, Trip Honeycutt. Shout out to Coach.
Yeah, Coach Honeycutt, you doing great stuff, man. Keep it up. And Coach Tatum, you doing a great job. Also, 47 points. Big win over Salisbury last week, man. All right, we're going to come back to Coach, but right now we're going to switch gears and we're going to go to Pepman's players once I get on the screen. All right, and then Pepman's Players is a part of Football Focus Weekly, which is sponsored by Victory Chevrolet. We're just $19 down, delivers any vehicle or pre-owned vehicle, new vehicle or pre-owned vehicle. That's what I'm trying to say. In stock. Make sure you visit victorychevycharlotte.com. All right. So starting off, we saw a lot of games because of the weather this week. We were able to get out to a lot of different places. So we checked out West Meck at Rocky River on Saturday. Mark Foster pictured right there. We had a great game, 4 total touchdowns, 168 yards rushing, 74-yard punt return for a touchdown, and then 11 tackles and an interception. He was doing everything all over the field. Impressive game. Linebacker Elijah Littlejohn. He is now at West Meck High School. He was at Charlotte Christian. It was in the news a little bit, but he made his debut for West Meck. He had a sack and he had multiple tackles for loss coming off the edge at linebacker in that victory. For Rocky River, number 4 wide receiver Darius Irvin Jr. was impressive. He had a touchdown catch and he had several receptions. He had a great synergy going on with his quarterback against West Meck. That night, I was able to get over to Olympic and North Meck at Olympic. The player of the game I chose was Joel Rivers. He had 2 interceptions and he had a game-clinching interception in that 26-23 victory over North Meck. Athlete Solomon Ford, number 1, had a scoop and score off of a bad field goal snap in that victory. That was a huge play. Tight end D'Angelo Hall, number 10, he's kind of being recruited by several schools. He had several catches to keep the chains moving for Olympic. And then linebacker Ryan Haley, number 4, on Friday night, before the game got suspended, he had a pick 6 to start the game against the Trojans. So all those guys we were able to see in person. Some guys that had great games otherwise. Linebacker Tanner Finnerty, chat administrator shouting him out right here. There's the 21 tackles and 3 tackles for loss against Reagan. Ironically, I just wrote about him on Prep Red Zone, and then he went out there and did that. That's awesome stuff. Shannon Wingate Jr. from North Lincoln, having a big season. 171 yards rushing and 4 touchdowns. Ethan Dempsey from Mount Pleasant, another great game. He's doing everything all over the field. He had 4 total touchdowns and 90 yards rushing, 85 receiving, 7 tackles and interception. You guys are doing a lot out here. It's really impressive. Kingston Curry at East Gaston had 120 receiving yards and a touchdown against Catawba Ridge. Adam Hembrick from E.E. Smith, a 99-yard pick 6. Man, that's got to be back-breaking. Good gracious. I saw one on Tuesday night, too, at Harding, but that's a whole different story. Adam had a great game. Offensive lineman Keondae Marsh from Huff. We know him very well. He had a dominant film. There were several pancake blocks in that film against Myers Park in their victory. Coach Fitzgerald at West Iredell sent this one in. Athlete Jermaine Cornelius, 2 interceptions, 2 forced fumbles, 5 tackles, 115 yards receiving, and a touchdown. Good gracious, what a game right there. Shout out to you, Mr. Cornelius. Great job. And that film really looked good. Trey Blakeney for Huff, 2nd week in a row. He's doing a great job, off to a hot start this season. 6 touchdown passes and threw for 323 yards. Trey is over 700 yards passing in the first 2 games this season. Good gracious, the Huff offense is really getting done, man. Teronde Spencer from Richmond Senior. He's been getting some accolades and deservedly so. A 6'3" linebacker that looks really good. 11 tackles, an interception, and a sack in their victory over Butler. Maddox Green, he makes the things go for Watauga. Has been doing it the past couple years. 257 in the air, 56 on the ground, 3 touchdowns in their win. Havelock, Jalen Hewitt, 358 passing yards and 6 touchdowns in their win this past week. He's had a hot start to the season. I believe he's over 700 yards passing as well. So the guy's really throwing the football early in the year. Rakeem Hammock, he's a speedster, 2027 guy from Northwest Guilford. He had 157 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in their win. Dre Norris at Pine Lake had a big game. Coach Trotter sent this one in to us, 137 receiving yards, and he had a kickoff return for a touchdown in their game against South Lake Christian. Patrick Hudson from the Cabarrus Stallions had a strong game, 3 sacks, 9 tackles, and he had a touchdown against South Lake, getting it done on both sides of the ball. Quarterback Eli Hamrick, he's a highly recruited 6'5" quarterback for AC Reynolds. They bounced back big with the win over Shelby. He was a big reason why. 286 in the air, 85 on the ground, and 2 touchdowns. Adam Big Eye Shelby Weber sent this one in to me. Was Savion Wilson from Burns. He had 165 on the ground, a touchdown, and 6 tackles against Crest in a close game that Crest was able to pull out. Ziggy Harris, Porter Ridge, looking really good so far this season. He had 126 on the ground, and then 4 tackles and a pass breakup. So a lot of athletes. You guys are doing a great job on both sides of the ball really early in the season. That's impressive, man. And then we just talked to the young man, Mitron Curry. You saw what he did last week, 248 receiving yards and 3 touchdowns. Incredible stuff. Cam Sear from Huff, defensive lineman, highlighted him in the preseason for those guys. Had a big game against Myers Park, 4.5 sacks in the victory. When you take a look at the film, it looks like James Nesta coming off the edge. That's how fast and strong he looked in that film. It was really good stuff. And then to finish it up, a 2027 tight end from Stuart Kramer, Qualto Hawkins. I hope I'm saying that correctly. I really liked his film when we were featuring 2027 guys on Prep Red Zone, North Carolina. 133 receiving yards and 2 touchdowns in their victory over Chase, 49-0. Good gracious. Stuart Kramer getting it done. All right, so those are Pepman's players for this week. So now we're going to bring the crew and see who's here. We saw Coach Tatum already. Once again, Coach, congratulations on that big win, man.
Hey, man, appreciate it. Man, after the game, we did a little post-game interviews. Our head coach's wife, and man, in that video, I'm just ecstatic for these kids, man. They just been working. They needed this bounce back season, right? And just we lost big to them last year. We came out, just kind of took it to them, and kind of made it happen. So I was really, really excited for those guys, and the guys up front played really good, well again. And we ended up rushing the ball. Our running back Cam Kelly, another guy that's under-recruited, but he had 170 yards on the ground and 3 touchdowns himself. So big games for a couple of guys. And, the big guys up front had 16 pancakes. So they love to keep up with that stuff, and I got to keep feeding them. So really good week for us.
Now, are they still getting wings, or are you getting pancakes now?
No, I think we're getting chicken sandwiches. They want chicken sandwiches. They're going to get Chick-fil-A chicken sandwiches and waffle fries, and we'll probably get them some type of dessert to go with it. So we'll see what goes on.
Okay. All right, I hear you, Coach. Man, I ain't had that money when I coached. All right, also joining us is Coach Davis, week number 3.
What's going on, fellas?
How you doing, Coach?
I'm good. Cannot complain. Will not complain.
Oh, I like that background.
I just found it actually. That's
Yeah.
that's against Texas Tech. That's a 72-yarder right there, I think.
Man. So you're the guy with the ball in his hands.
Yeah, I'm running scared like somebody police after me. Yeah.
Man, that's all right.
Yeah,
Good stuff, Coach.
That's a 69. And you know, when you wear number 1, you got to bring it. So that's part of the number. That comes as a package. You're number 1, you got to bring it.
Absolutely, man.
Yeah. And I want to congratulate Coach too, being an OC, getting that young man the ball in open area quickly. Get it to him quickly too. You know, a lot of people thinking a guy with his talent should be throwing downfield 70-yard bombs and stuff. But you get a guy like that the ball 2 yards off the line of scrimmage, he makes things happen.
Yeah.
So the quarterback has to understand that too.
Yeah.
You know, quarterback has to understand, get that guy the ball as soon as possible. And for selfish reasons it'll help the quarterback stats instead of him trying to make something happen downfield. Get that young man the ball early.
There you go. All right. Also joining us is Adam Big Eye Shelby Weber with the Patriots going to 2-0, coming off a big win over the Hickory Ridge Raging Bulls.
What's going on, fellas? What's going on?
What's going on, Coach?
You good, man?
Yeah, can't call them and get ready for another JV game tomorrow, man.
Who y'all got?
Charlotte Christian.
Oh, okay. All right. We'll see what that JV defense does out there. On shutout.
Hey, man, we just try to get through each day, man.
You're too young to be that humble.
Hey, JV, something different, man.
Hey, I'm telling you.
That's good. So you
And
like
then last
day to day.
Day to day, man. It's day to day.
I get it. Been there, done
And last but certainly not least is Coach Dub, Robert Washington from Mountain Island Charter.
Hey, what's going on, fellas? I want to shout out our men and women that serve our country. That's the true heroes, man. I never want that to be lost in sight, man. Shout out to any man or woman that's ever served our country and is continue to serve our country.
Most definitely.
All right. Well said, man. Well said. All right. So what we got tonight, let's get into it. This is the updated Dirty Dozen sponsored by the Queen City Senior Bowl. Stay tuned. Very soon, you will be able to apply for the Queen City Senior Bowl. Seniors that are eligible, it'll be on the website, queencityseniorbowl.com, hopefully as soon as this weekend. So it would be the 6th annual Queen City Senior Bowl. Very excited to be a part of that once again. So, but that being said, we had some changes, not too many in the first half of the poll there. I did move Huff up because I really thought that was impressive with what they did against Myers Park. Mallet Creek dropped, and it's really not their fault. They just couldn't. Well, they couldn't work it out with Cardinal Gibbons, but we'll get to that in a few minutes. In the Duck and Smoke segment coming up. But no change at West Charlotte, and then moved a couple teams up there. Catholic and South Point are new to the poll. And then we got a couple new ones knocking on the door with Statesville, Ashbrook, and Sun Valley knocking in the door there. So thoughts on the Dirty Dozen? I see one in the comments already.
I like how you do the +1 or -2 or +2 or 0 to let people know how far they done moved or went down.
Yeah, I think that's fair, you know. And I'm not gonna say nothing because I don't want to say something that's gonna get me in trouble. But I think, you know, there needs to be more kind of context to why people are where they are, you know, instead of just saying here it is. Chat administrator says, take us off that list. We need to be back to being underdogs. And he says us, he's talking about Morrisville. He is a very dedicated Morrisville fan, and they had a tough loss to Reagan last week, but It was competitive. It literally came down to the last play, which the last play was crazy.
Crazy.
If you haven't seen it. I mean, they did the whole lateral thing, and then Brody Norman, the quarterback, got the ball and ran it all the way down to the 4-yard line before he got tackled. It was almost a miracle for the ages there. Christopher Worcester says Stuart Kramer slept on. No. That's not true because I just shouted out your teammate in Pepman's players.
Listen,
that's not true.
You cannot win your first game in 13 games and talk about you being slept on.
Get Pep. Here you go, Pep.
No.
Here you go. All right, explain yourself. I'm
not. I don't want to go any far. I'm just saying teams are so quick, and this ain't nothing towards Stuart Kramer or anybody else. But you cannot lose 13 games and then talk about you're being slept on. Yeah. Take it one game at a time.
And let me add on to that too, Coach. They beat a Chase High School team, which is my neck of the woods up in Rutherford County, and Chase is perennial bad. They literally, they had a couple years ago. They had a pretty good team. Here's the things going on up there. The year they had a good team, they had players from RS Central and East Rutherford transfer to Chase, and they had a good team. Now the Chase players are going to RS and East, and they suck. And administration up there is having coaches follow players home to see where they live, but they weren't doing that a couple years ago when they had the good team.
Yep.
They weren't doing it.
Also, Pep, if you want to know some history, if you're going to do a count of 30 or 40 games, they're the only team that has never beat Shelby.
Chase has never beat Shelby. Wow.
It's like 40, it's like they're like 0-40.
Yeah.
Oh, good gracious.
Yeah.
They came close to beating us. They came close to beating us in COVID. I think they was up maybe 14 at halftime with one of them teams he's talking about. They had a lot of talent, and we had the COVID year, and we ended up coming back and winning at the end.
Yeah.
And my junior year, we played them twice. We blew them out the first time. Then the playoffs, we beat them like 10-7 or 14-7.
Yeah, they got a lot of turmoil going on up there, but they're
a lot going on.
I'm like Coach Dub. You can't say you won in 78 and you being slept on.
All right. So now I'm being called out because why did I drop Mallard Creek and saying I'm knocking them for something they had no control over? Well, it's not the fault of Mallard Creek. It's the fact that Huff beat Myers Park 52-13, and they deserved to move up.
They dropped one spot.
What the question would be is how good is Myers Park?
Well, I mean,
it is now.
Yeah. We'll get to that in a second here. But slime ball, Crest and Shelby week, we'll talk about that. We kind of have to on this show as long as big eyes here. So we'll get to that when we get to the game previews. But we'll jump to the new CMS Best of Last. The week 3 update. I still keep Independence at 1. Huff moves up to 2. Mallard Creek to 3. West Charlotte at 4. Myers Park at 5. Now, here's the thing about Myers Park. They played 2 really good teams. The top 2 teams here in this ranking. They've shown a really good half against Independence. Obviously, we all know that. But it's been a rough. They had a rough first half against Independence, and then they had a rough game against Huff. So now it's kind of like, where are they? The way I look at it is, can Myers Park beat all those teams that I have under them? Right now, I say yes.
I think they go. I don't know who else they play, or I can't remember who's in their conference. But I think they finished the year 8-2, 7-3 and worse.
Yeah, they got Sun Valley this week, and that's going to be a good game. It was a good game last year.
8-2, 7-3 at worst. Nothing lower than that.
I still think they're the best team in the SOMEC.
So, and we talk about the teams below them. You think they could beat Chambers?
Yeah.
Yeah.
You said it confidently. I West Mac
Yeah,
with their new addition.
Yeah. West
Audrey
Met don't
Kale.
I think the
Kale?
only team that got a good chance of giving them a game at a 5 to 10 would be AK and Chambers.
That's what I'm thinking. Chambers and AK, that stands out to me. I mean, you got to think Huff. I mean, Huff drug him. Like you know, they drug him. So I don't know. They're 0-2 and you got them 5.
Yeah, I mean they played the top 2 teams.
But he's saying they played 1 and 2, so you can't really you fought them.
No, but
also
but look, they got drugged. Think about this. Do Huff beat Audrey Kale like that or Chambers?
Probably so. Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean,
No.
Huff and Chambers.
No.
Huff and Chambers
You don't
played
think so?
you,
Why
Huff and Chambers
not?
shoot, so.
Because first, Huff is not going to beat Chambers like that. You have to understand this. That was a dragon, like a beatdown. It wasn't close. Was it a running score? Was it a running clock?
Yes.
I think it was a running clock, right?
Yes, it was.
So they put a running. So anyone that got a running clock put on them should not be ranked top 10.
I mean, that's not really. I mean, they've played. Nobody else other than them has played too hard.
Because a running clock,
But that would happen to probably
I understand that.
the vast majority of teams on here.
Hey, listen, understand that though.
So okay. So Huff.
I'm saying based off their strength of schedule gets them top 5.
Listen, look.
Yeah, that's a good way of
their
looking
strength
at
of
it.
schedule will still get them a top 5. Like, okay, who would you really put over? Who and your heart of hearts from 6 to 10, who would you really put over? Based off strength of schedule.
Audrey Kale played.
Who did Audrey Kale play?
No, I'm taking the disclaimer that you're putting in because you use the strength of schedule, but they got drugged.
But I'm saying Huff is
in one game. They played Independence to 3 points.
So think about it. Okay, hold on.
But think about this.
Who did Audrey Kale play? Providence and who else?
What was the score at halftime?
They were playing Weddington and they took.
I'm saying their first 2 games. AK played Providence and who?
Weddington.
Providence and Weddington.
So
okay, hold on. Providence and Weddington. Yep. Independence and Huff is better than Providence, and you argue Weddington. So again, strength of schedule. Okay, who did Olympic play?
They played North Mech and they played West Mech.
Okay. Who did Chambers play?
They played Clover.
They played Clover. You give them Clover. Then they play who?
They had a bye last week.
They had a bye. So one game. Providence lost to AK, and Providence played who else?
Providence. They played South Mech. That game got rescheduled.
Okay, so they played one game. West Mech played who?
Rocky River and Olympic.
Come on now. Okay. Again, you talking about Chambers played one game. Everybody else played 2 opponents that's on the other side of the rankings. So you have to give them the number 5 off strength of schedule.
The only negative thing is I see with that is Coach Shelby with them getting beat like they got beat, being a top 5 team and getting running clock on you, no matter who it is.
But also though, you have to take into account you have to understand where it's like they got running clocked only because of what Huff aimed to stop is Myers Park's strong suit. Myers Park wants to throw the ball. Huff dares you to throw the ball.
Right. And they knew that going in.
So
they knew that going in.
That's going to happen.
If you're a top 5 team in any rankings, you should not have a running clock put on them. That's all I'm saying. I don't care. Okay, what was it?
Saying that though when they play a team that's in the top 3?
Because listen, what was y'all score at halftime with them?
It was 24-0.
Okay, y'all see the thing is if y'all didn't go to sleep on them in the second half, it would have been a running clock.
I mean, we did. Though. I mean, we can't talk about.
But you can't play if and you can't
play
do that.
if. You can't play if because that's like saying if Miles Park had such and such, they could have beat Huff. You can't start adding players or adding elements. You just got to take scores for what the scores are.
What was the score again? 21-0 at halftime, and they got
24-0 at halftime. We won the game 24-21. The Huff, when they played Huff at halftime, it was a reason.
So you mean to tell me you beat this team with the point shot scored in the first half? That's what you're telling
me. All right, hold on.
No, I'm asking a question.
No. We're gonna stop this. Rob, who's your top 5?
Who my top 5 would be?
Yes.
I would keep it the same. I would possibly.
He would keep it the same. So why we have this conversation?
No. Listen, no. I would definitely put Myers Park at 7. I would definitely put Audrey Kelly Chambers over.
Audrey Kelly Chambers over Myers Park.
Yeah, I would definitely.
Adam, you muted. You muted Adam.
He's still talking.
But you got to realize too, Pat.
Take yourself off mute, Adam.
Adam's got a lot.
Question.
Adam is being a politician right now.
No,
because
I'm
strength of schedule comes into play with the rankings.
Hey, listen.
That's it, Coach. That's it, Coach.
Okay, we can fix it like this. If Audrey Kell played Independence and Huff, what would their record be?
But y'all want
no. If Audrey Kell played Independence and Huff first 2 weeks, what would their record be?
I can tell you this. Y'all wouldn't be up 24-0 at halftime, and Huff wouldn't put it.
No, it ain't about if you lose by 30, 40. Would they be 0-2 like Myers Park?
I don't know, cuz I think Audrey Kelly give y'all a game.
That's not the. Is it would they win or would they lose?
Yeah, you're right. They'll be 0-2.
Okay, if Olympic played Independence and Huff, would they be 0-2?
I'm not arguing about Olympic. I said Chambers.
If Chambers played Independence and Huff, would they be 1? Even if they were 1-1 or 0-2, they still gonna be in the same spot.
Hey, Coach, does it matter if they're 0-2 with the score being ran up on them?
Because this is what you got to understand. It's about who they're playing. Okay, if you flip their schedule and said, if you flip Myers Park's schedule and said Myers Park, you can play South Med and Providence, they'd be 2-0.
But Huff run the clock on those other 2 schools, Olympic and RG Kell.
Yeah.
No, they wouldn't. They would not.
Yes. I don't know about RG Kell. Right. I don't know about RG Kell. Right. I haven't really got to see them. I'm not going to coach teams I've never seen.
Coach, maybe you can help me out. Has anybody that ever competed for a state championship ever had a running clock put on?
We're not talking about competing.
Not that I can recall.
We're moving the goalpost. You can't move the
goalpost. No, because Cuz is moving the goalpost.
No, I'm not. I'm saying, hey, let's get. Hey, man, they're right. Let's get on with the slide. We're gonna be here all night.
Thank you, Miss Reynolds. And I need you to talk to him when you see him tomorrow. Because this is just
talk to Coach Dub, man. Talk to Coach Rob,
Give
man.
him some good snacks. He needs some good snacks. That's the problem.
Need my chicken wrap.
Hey Pep, he arguing Myers Park, but you ain't arguing Battle Creek. They done played 1 game.
Well, Battle Creek's above them.
But they only played 1 game. So would you put somebody else who's gonna play 2 games above them?
I'm gonna be honest. My dark horse in this whole group is Battle Creek. I think Battle Creek got it. They got that.
How's number 3 the dark horse?
No, I'm just saying on the list. I'm not saying that. I agree that they should be at 3. I'm just saying let's watch out for them. And no one on this list is sleeping on Battle Creek. And we both know Huff can drop games that they don't supposed to be dropping, and they typically drop them to Chambers. Let's be honest.
I think it's a different Huff team this year. That offense is ridiculous.
I agree. Look, I always go for Huff. That's my favorite to win the state championship. I'm going to get that out the way. But I'm just saying, let's keep an eye out on it because we'll see come playoff time. That's all I'm saying.
How you go from that's your favorite, but you knocking Myers Park to get beat by 40?
I'm not knocking Myers Park.
You're not
knocking. Not what? Yes, you are. You're saying
Huff is your favorite to win state. You said Huff is your favorite to win state, but you're criticizing Myers Park to lose it to them. That don't make sense.
Listen, I would say Myers Park is number 7. That's a healthy slot. So
who is
I'm
6? Who will be 6?
Chambers.
All right, yeah, we're moving on. We're moving on. Where's the email? Thank you, chat administrator.
Put the email
if you disagree, pepperswrong@gmail.com. And Coach Dub, I expect to see email from you.
I'm sending you one. Let me go to the internet now.
All right. Coach Dub, this is your time now.
Uh-oh. No, this being Cuz time.
Who?
This is a joint segment. This me and my cousin.
Okay,
time.
hold on. You gotta
come on, Cuz, let's let him have it. Look, hey, I'm gonna tell y'all something. So we decided to do a duck and smoke segment for this week because I think we saw a lot of suspicious activity going on, games not being rescheduled, games being played, and teams feeling like, oh, well, maybe we don't got the upper hand on them, and just games not being rescheduled and made. And when you could play that Saturday or you could play on that Monday. But we had a couple interesting matchups that didn't make for whatever reason that we wanted to see.
What matchup stuck out to you the most? What matchup stuck out to you the most?
The Monroe and West Charlotte game stuck out to me. I don't understand why that game wasn't replayed.
And it was told to me, well, not told to me. I had read it on a couple of the blog sites, the high school football talk page. I think Monroe wanted to wait it out and play the game, or possibly move the game to Saturday, or something like that. But I was told the other side didn't want to do that. So are we saying West Charlotte was duck and smoke?
Well, I don't want to go on record saying it, but it smells. So what I'm saying is, from what I heard, and I wasn't there, just speculations, allegedly, that Rowe was about to score. Or they were
I heard that too.
I
heard it from a legitimate source that Monroe was driving like on the 1 or 2 yard line, about to punch it in and score. Then, the game never got rescheduled.
Yeah, so that's a game that stick out to me. I think, with West Charlotte not playing Independence, which again, I heard all the talk of, this happened and that happened, and because you don't got to comment on this one, but for whatever reason, we didn't have our historical matchup that we like to see, Independence and West Charlotte, which is a Charlotte game. I think the baby and Cam Newton mentioned it on his show. It's all the bells and whistles that you would want. And I don't care what the records are on either side. I always feel like West Charlotte Independence should be playing. And that's just coming from a fan. And to go from not making that game to happen to not rescheduling the Monroe game, no knock on any players or anything like that. It just it looked kind of funny to me. And I know those players probably wanted to play because it's a dog.
Any other games stick out to you?
What was interesting was Country Day and CSD. I think it was 14-0 or something like that. I wasn't expecting Country Day to at least score 14 points. I think if that game would have been played, I'm going to go on the record and say I think Community School of Davidson would have won that game. I just think that was one of the games. If it was rescheduled, I think CSD would have definitely won.
Yeah. And I think moving games, with games that didn't get played, I think it sticks out as we segue into the second part. So teams make every effort to get their games in. We just seen Ben L. Smith play Harding last night, so they drove back down during the school week on a Tuesday to play Harding. So that shows you that if a school from Greensboro is going to drive an hour and a half, 2 hours on the bus to Charlotte, then that lets you know everybody could have put the effort in, especially if you're not that far apart traveling-wise. I know we played Saturday morning. I think Rocky River played their game Saturday morning. I know Shelby and AC Reynolds played at, I want to say, 5 p.m. I know Crescent Burns played Monday. If anybody want to comment games that still got played, that'd be good as well. But I think everybody should make the effort to play, especially also we Walkertown drove an hour back to play Salisbury on Monday. So that's a game. You also see, I think for me, big, not being in school, but coaching during COVID, I seen how much of an effect that had on kids. in a economic impact. I think nobody should be trying to not have games. Like, play the game. Now, even if you're a team that was undermatched or undermanned and you feel that way, why did you take the game anyway?
Yeah. And Kim, I is it Kamala? Miss Watts, I definitely understand. I'm an athletic director myself. I schedule games, so I understand there's a lot of variables going to that.
It's a lot of variables, but also it's a lot of variables also as well. That's a great point. But it's also a lot of people that do whatever to get the game done if they really wanted to.
And I can tell you just from hands-on experience as an athletic director and as a head coach, if you want to make those games happen, you can make those games happen. I mean, for example, with us, we were supposed to play Covenant Day, but for whatever reason, we couldn't make the games happen. It was, we had different things that was going on. We tried. I didn't reschedule that game until 3 days later because I was doing everything I could possibly do to make that game happen. They had already previously had a bye week, and our bye week was coming up, and we couldn't get it to mix because they started playing. They had a tough opponent, so they didn't want to play that Monday. And it was just a bunch of different stuff. And then we couldn't play. It was just a bunch of different things. But I was successfully in getting another compatible team to be able to play. So what we're saying is going into the playoffs, only playing 9 games. I mean, you try to make that game happen. And a couple of the games that we did mention, you got to try to make those games happen because you got to think about it. Those games are big revenue games too. When West Charlotte goes to Monroe or Monroe goes to West Charlotte, I think they was West Charlotte at Monroe.
I think so.
That's a big time game for that community. That's a huge game, no different than Big I versus Dub C. You know what I'm saying? So those are the type of games you got to make happen. And just this is like the second game that wasn't made. And again, we're not calling anybody else. Disclaimer. We're calling nobody out. We're speaking as fans that some of these games should have made.
Okay, then with the third part, it say if a team flat out refuses to play, should they receive a loss on their record? I think so, because I think if you have, and let's be honest, right? You shouldn't schedule games you feel like you can't win, for one. Then for two, if I'm willing to play and I'm there, why should my kids have to suffer? You know what I'm saying? Like, if we got the game, we there, we say we'll wait it out, and you say, nah, we're just not going to play, let's forfeit. I mean, like, I don't think that if the team that wanted to play, I don't think they should get the loss.
And then one person said it was a shortage of referees. And I'm speaking from experience. It wasn't. I know that's what people were saying. It wasn't a shortage of referees. The thing was, because you got to think about it, some games did play. So a lot of games got played.
A lot of games got played on Saturday.
Hey, look, I don't think that rule will ever go into play, but I bet you if it was a rule, I bet you it'd be a lot more reschedules going on. If you had to take a loss, I bet you a lot more games would get rescheduled for sure.
Mm-hmm. And I think they should be open about it. Hey, this game ain't gonna be played because of such a school said they didn't want to continue. Other school gets win.
I think it's a fair consideration. I really do.
Yeah.
I mean, Mallard Creek and Cardinal Gibbons being another one.
Yeah, okay. Yeah, even with that one, I heard that it was told to me that Mallard Creek said we would have came to Raleigh on Saturday. Yep. And that's really what you call duck and smoke if that's true.
Ooh. Hey, but the thing is, if you got a team, because what I'm thinking, and I don't want to think this way, but if you're playing a team and you think you could potentially take an L to them, and you got an excuse to get out of it, I don't know. It baffled me that it was so many non-contest games. Like if you're playing a team and it's like a 2-3 hour drive away from each other, I get it. You can't reschedule it. But you're talking about teams that's like not too far within an hour distance.
But the crazy thing though, the teams that came an hour or more, they still played.
Yeah, because even they was talking about Labor Day, but Harding and Ben L. Smith played on Tuesday.
Yeah.
Crescent Burns played on Monday.
Yep.
That's a great Labor Day. It's a great Labor Day outing.
But Coach Dub, isn't most of the time it's up to the athletic director to make that decision along with the coach? But the athletic director makes the bottom line decision, right?
Well, I think I think that Friday when the game is talked about getting canceled, they bring in the head coaches and be like, hey, do y'all want to play the game or like kind of like what do y'all want to do? And then after that, I think the AD and whoever else gets involved, like principal and stuff, say, hey, if we play Saturday, let's do this. Or if we play Monday, we can do this.
Yeah.
But I think
and the athletic director, they do have the final say, but most athletic directors lean on their head coaches. So if their head coach really wants to play it, I've never seen an AD say, we can't make that game happen unless, again, it's no referees, which I can confirm that was not the case. Because it was so many games that played Friday that those referees was opened up. Because remember, guys want to make money. We got referees. So if people want to play on Saturday, if they want to play on Monday, they want to play on Tuesday, we would have had enough referees because those games were spread out. It wasn't like everybody was playing on Saturday because everybody didn't play on Saturday. Some teams played on Monday, Tuesday, and some teams scheduled. I know I seen Corvian and Valentine Ridge set up for the following the 9th. So it's one of those things like if they really wanted to make that game happen, I'm pretty sure they could. I'm not saying they could have, but I'd be hard pressed to believe that if both coaches came together, they couldn't make that game.
Yeah, I know. Like back in the day, if a game was getting lightning out or whatever, immediately the two coaches, either athletic director or administrator, they got together from both schools. They even looked at the forecast for the next day, to see what was going on. And they would make a decision right there. No, we can't do it tomorrow, but they got together eventually and they played each other. I don't know what the deal is with teams ducking out now, but back then they made up games all the time, middle of the week if they had to.
Hey, it was funny because my sophomore year, the same thing happened when I was at Shelby when we was playing Crest. We got rained out and played the game literally that next day.
Yeah.
All right.
Hey, Pep, two things.
All right, last word.
I got two things. The first thing is shout out to Harden for still playing that game. The second thing, pull up Miss Watts' post, where she says, so for whatever the middle one. All right, so I'm gonna address this, and then and we can move on. You cannot walk around and say, with the videos and all that extra stuff, and say you're the best team in Charlotte, and you're not making games happen. I'm just calling, like I said, you can't be a top 5, and some polls got them number 4, number 3, or whatever the case may be. If you're a top program from Independence to Hub, you name anybody that's the quote unquote top schools in the state, we're expecting those games to make. We're expecting those games to make. All and right. That's just my last thing on that.
There it is. Duck and Smoke, Weather Edition.
Sponsored by High School Football Talk Page. Non-credible source.
All right, well, let's move on to another topic. North Carolina not supporting high school football like others. Coach Tatum, I got to move you up on this one because I know you got some things you want to say. But first of all, let's start with coaching stipends. The stipend pay is way too low.
Mm-hmm.
Go ahead.
Go ahead, finish. You about to say what can we what?
No, I was just gonna say what can we do about it.
I think it's more so on the statewide level, right? I don't think it's county. I think it's more so it is kind of county plays a part, but I think it's statewide too because it's crazy because in CMS, if you make it to the state championship, your stipend is the same, just the same as the head coach if he goes 1-9.
Yep.
And I don't think that's fair. You know what I'm saying? Like
that's a lot of extra games.
That's crazy. But I'm just saying it's crazy that because you're basically saying we're the same. Like then I know in CMS there's no playoff pay.
Correct.
Like how it is in Cleveland County. Like at least if you're gonna had the head coaches pay the same, you can reward them somehow. Like for the guys who make these playoff runs and state championship, because all they're doing is putting more eyes and influence on the city and the county and conferences where they come from. But you're basically telling them that, oh, we're the same. So I could put in thousands of hours of work, and I could be a head coach who just show up on game day and we get the same thing.
Yep.
Like I don't think that's fair at all. I don't think you ever will be paid what you're worth, head coach. But I think people can get close to it.
Well, they're doing it in private school. Like, let's be honest. Like, do you really see private school coaches just leaving like that? Most of the private school coaches, they retire where they're at. But I want to bring up an interesting thing. I feel that if the NCHSA or state association, I'm not sure if they can or not. I'm speaking like a what if. Wonder if they came up with some kind of pay structure for coaches, where it was something that the districts would have to even mimic or follow, or it could be a recommended, right? Just say we recommend the coaching salaries to be XYZ. I don't know if they got the power to do it, but I just feel like it needs to be some kind of structure that we follow within North Carolina, because I see in South Carolina, they got a structure. You can see it. And they're kind of mimicking those structures. But in North Carolina, it's like you could be a coach to coach literally for 50 years and coach 5 years and you're getting around the same pay. I don't think that's fair. I know CMS do have a 10-year particular pay or whatever the case may be, but I think it should be something that we follow, like, because the next thing, if coaches get pay raises, then you won't want the teachers. So let's start with the teachers first. Let's pay the teachers what they're worth, which because most of the
whole
coaches,
nother subject.
Yeah, but you think about this, Pep. If you pay the teachers what they're worth, most of the coaches are teachers, right? So if you're paying them well in the building, the stipend's not going to matter. And I ain't gonna say they don't matter, but you're gonna think about your overall check. That makes sense. Not what you're getting in it as a stipend. And for our non-teacher that don't have their teacher stipends for coaches, just increase that pay.
Well, South Carolina, they can teach a weight class and still make $100,000 a year on the football from coaching football. They have one class. Some may be ADs, but I know a couple coaches in South Carolina over $100,000, and they got a weight class, which is mostly their football players. So South Carolina does something right by the coaches down there for sure.
And I know we see a lot of the coaches in North Carolina, once they win or run their course, they go to South Carolina or they finish up in Georgia or other places like that. So I mean, I think it's something that should be done. Because I don't think it's fair that a coach that had to coach for 16 weeks in the regular season playoffs, get paid the same thing as someone who doesn't even make it.
I agree. There definitely needs to be some type of.
You would never see that nowhere. Like you would never see that on any level or any job or you won't see that.
Well, it's just think about the time. I mean, just from the standpoint of if you're paid and you're not, but if you were paid by the hour, it's just so much more that you're having to do for a lot less.
Plus, a deep playoff run, that's basically like another half a season. Honestly.
Yeah, because think about it. You play, 5 games to state? So you playing 6 games in the playoffs, 5 or 6 games in the playoffs, 10 games regular season.
Yep.
Well, it's based on whatever the state puts emphasis on.
Yeah.
Do they care? And so if they don't care, then it's not gonna be a big deal, and then we have what we have. So it's at a state level. Whoever makes those decisions, I have no clue. But obviously, it matters to even Virginia gets paid more. I coached in Virginia. Virginia gets paid more. It's not much more, but it is. South Carolina, we know, is a lot more than obviously Georgia, and the more you keep going. Mm-hmm. But in those states, it matters. I mean, people that are running things, they have communities that they came from that have rich traditions of athletics. Let's just call it athletics, not just football. they care. They put emphasis on it. Hey, we think these guys, these ladies are worth this. Let's give it to them. Same thing with teacher pay. And until we get to that point, it's not going to matter because nobody's really causing that much of a fuss because more often than not, coaches are like, yeah, pay sucks, but we love coaching football. And that's kind of, for the most part, that's where it kind of is, right? It's more of a gripe than, an issue.
And I look at it too, like, I know Cleveland County, I think we get paid more. I think the assistants may get paid more because of the playoff pay. But then I think you see like the neighboring county, like I was told at one point that the Rutherford County schools talking about Chase again. I think the assistant coaches in that county get paid more than Cleveland County.
Wow.
But you got to realize too, it's just not football when it comes to coaches stipends. It's all sports.
Yeah.
Basketball, same way. Coaches in high schools in other states are getting paid, salaries and not stipends. So it's just not a football thing. It's across the board in sports in North Carolina.
Yeah,
go ahead, Coach.
And I was saying the fact that we have to coach year round, like even basketball. I even seen some, tennis. They're doing all year workouts. Like you're literally, you have to coach all year round, especially in this environment with the high school transfer portal. You don't talk to your kid for a month or two, they out. So we're coaching year round.
See, but my thing is, I'm good with being paid during the season. Like off season, I got you, but increase that. When I'm in season, increase that stipend. I don't need to be. It's kind of like teachers getting paid through the summer. If you're a 10-month employee, we understand what it is. But I don't need, if it's March and we're getting ready into spring ball, I'm not expecting a check to come through because I'm in the off season. But as soon as I'm in season, the stipend should be coming through, and whatever you emphasize is what's going to be paid out.
So how do we fix facilities? And this has been an ongoing question that we've done this on this show for years. But across the state, you just compare. I mean, Texas, we know, is a whole nother world. But when you go down to South Carolina and you see some of the stadiums down there that are nice, like Big Eye, y'all went down to Gaffney.
Beautiful.
And yeah. What does it take, for some of this stuff to get done? It's very frustrating. I remember having a conversation with several people about Harding, and people were saying you need to get lawyers and you need to sue for this and that, and it shouldn't take all that. It shouldn't take all that to do what's right. Because, and I'll just use Harding as an example, the away bleachers, literally the rail to go down the steps. And first of all, there are no steps. Just a whole nother thing. But the handrail doesn't even go all the way down for the whole section on any of the bleachers. And it passes fire code every year. And I'm like, how is this legal? The stadium was built in 81. And I know in 1981, the fire code did not say that was right. So it drives me crazy. But how can we get facilities to a better place? It drives me crazy because not only from a safety standpoint, but just from the fact that, do you care? And like you said, Coach Tatum, I think the biggest problem with all these things is the right people don't care. They don't care, and people accept it as status quo. And it gets into a question of, okay, North Carolina has a coaches association. Do they rock the boat? Yeah, I don't think that's been happening.
Real quick, Pep and Coach Doug, you love this. Trotter just texted me. He said, go ahead and read it out loud. He says, South Carolina schools don't have a constant changing of lines, and community support is greater because of that. And it's easier to fundraise money when it's 3 or 4 generations deep have all attended that same school. So that building money and upgrade facilities, all that stuff is that happens when you have a long-standing tradition and lines don't change. And even like up here where I'm at, like near us, Surrey County, their county got together and they're county commissioners. They put forth money to get them turf fields. Well, okay, now you got to get, even it might need to be on a smaller level, countywide, to get things done. Or if you have consolidated counties like Montgomery County, in the middle of the state, they consolidated 2 high schools. Montgomery Central High School has some of the best facilities.
It's beautiful down there. Yeah.
And so sometimes it's consolidated stuff. All the money goes to one place. And now we got money to do it. I don't know if it's going to be from a wide lens type thing, like the state of North Carolina makes a ruling, or if it needs to be individualized in counties. But something's got to change.
Yeah, I think it's definitely counties, because you see in Lincoln County, I think all those schools have turf now. Like they made a decision in Hickory, East Lincoln, Lincolnton, all those schools have turf now. So I think it has to be a county thing. And it's like you said, like it's all about who cares, and I think you see it more so in CMS. You see teams that's won state championships went on unbelievable runs, like what Independence did, or even the run Chambers went on, and you look around and you be like, what do they have to show for it?
Yeah.
And it's kind of like a thing where, like, when people come see the school, they be like, well, I thought y'all would have this. But they don't.
Right. That was a big thing when Indy was on the winning streak.
And think about it, right? Like, I had people, my friends and family, come to games, and they'll say, wow, y'all don't have no field house? You know what I'm saying? There's something small like that.
To the choir on this show.
but because the power's in the people. It's not enough unity. Like, if you get enough people, you hear the same people that's in there complaining about what the coaches should be running, and on Friday night, if we got all the people that complained on Friday night together in each district, and they went down to the school board, or they went to the local government department.
I think it's bigger than that too, though. I think everybody cares about where the money comes from.
But who votes for those people in those positions?
On the screen. So on this note, it's talking about North Carolina education lottery money. I will tell you that the majority of that money goes to building new schools. That's where that money goes. That came up when we were going up to the CMS board and going to all the board meetings and all that.
But what percentage? What percentage, Pep? Because from my understanding, it's not a great percentage.
Right. And that's a whole nother conversation. The percentage that is available, the majority.
Think about it like this. It's a beautiful school. They said Ballantyne Ridge costs, like, how much was it? 120.
But that was bond money.
I know, but think about if they just say, I'm gonna give every school in the CMS $1 million.
Well, $1 million, I don't think $1 million is enough.
That's how much a turf field costs.
But maybe if you allocate it based on, like, Hardin shouldn't get the same money as Ballantyne Ridge. You get what I'm saying?
Yeah, I know it would take $9 million to fix Harding to where it's at the same standard as new schools.
Well, if people took on a project each year, say we can't fix all schools, but we'll go from the worst all the way up. So whatever's the worst stadium in CMS, you start there, you build it up, you invest the money to build it up, and next year you take on another project. And
that would make a lot of sense.
No, I agree. And here's the thing: it's in the bond. It's in the bond that got approved, and it's in there with South Mech and I believe East Mech. So that stuff, it just takes so long for this stuff to happen.
I wouldn't leave it up to CMS to do it evenly, because I've seen cases when I was coaching where a couple of schools got their track resurfaced twice before some of the other schools got theirs resurfaced once.
Yes.
You
can say the same thing for turf fields.
Yeah. So, and the drainage, irrigation systems, stuff like that. Some schools on the outskirts got all that stuff maybe twice before a school, maybe inner city school, got it once.
Still happening.
Discrepancy is bad when it comes to CMS. Bad.
I know the Carolina Panthers are partnered with CMS. I didn't mean to cut you off, Pep, but this is a topic on my mind, because the better facilities we got, the better environment we have for our kids. And that's the point of education. But I know they got partnership with like the Carolina Panthers. You got the Hornets. Wonder if some of those teams start stepping up and maybe use the revenue from the kickoff classic to generate revenue to pour back into CMS schools. I don't know.
Let's finish up with off-season practice rules. We've actually seen a little bit of improvement on these, but it's still night and day between, let's just say, here in South Carolina.
Yeah.
Because we know what they can do in South Carolina.
Got a spring game in South Carolina.
Right.
I just want to say three things. One, yeah, spring game is dope. Second, we should be able to go 11 on 11 in summer like South Carolina does.
Mm-hmm.
Like, other people are doing it. Why can't we? It ain't like it's, injuries, blah, blah, blah. It's not safe. It's hot. Other people are doing it. Nobody's having issues. So, cry me a river. Next, what's up?
No, go ahead. I was about to say, and we seen someone do it anyway. I won't say no name.
Yeah.
But it was a school that was actually.
Yeah. And then my last thing I want to say is heat acclimation. Give me a break. Like the week before we had to go, week before the season starts, before we do heat acclimation, we in shoulder pads anyway because it's allowed. So it's not like, why are we having to take everything off again to then go helmets and then go shoulder pads, then finally get your days in. Some kids can scrimmage, some kids can't because they missed a day. It's just more of a headache. I mean, if the kid's got all this stuff done in Dragonfly, he's got a physical. Let's roll.
I think it comes down to red tape because everyone's scared to be sued. Yep. So they come up with these nice little plans. Do this after the third day. Do this after the fifth day, and all that stuff. Which, to your point, Tatum, I agree 1,000% with you. We should be able to do that stuff in the summer.
Mm-hmm.
And we should make a part of summer workouts mandatory because they got this non-mandatory stuff where we can't make kids come. But what happens is when we start tryouts, this year we started July 31st. You know how many kids started July 31st and was so out of shape and should have been cut? Should have been cut. But I'm at a 1A school, so I'm taking the bodies I can get. But in a bigger program, if you don't come to the off-season workouts, you're going to be cut. And these kids, like, if you really want to talk about health and safety, get a kid that's been sitting around all summer because they didn't have to come and then come to tryouts and try to get acclimated in 8 days.
Got to be careful what you ask for, too, because you may want that stuff, but you're not going to get paid for it as a coach.
We're there anyway, so you might as well.
Yeah, we do it anyway.
But you're going to be putting in a whole lot more time when you're talking about doing the 11 on 11 stuff.
Not really.
Nah, it'll be the same time. Could they give us I go 4 or 5 days a week. In the summer.
5 days a week?
4 to 5 days, depending on the week.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Trotter says if you cut, you have to cut before you ever see him hit live in practice. Okay. It's kind of backwards, but Yasmin comes in, going back to facilities, naming rights. If someone says they want to build a stadium for Harding, they wanted naming rights. Is that possible? CMS has an office called the Office of Strategic Partnerships, where if someone is interested in doing something like that, they would work with that office and then try to, find a compromise on something like that. But it is possible, yes. And it's separate from General Assembly because it's a CMS thing. It's held by the district. So good question. Very good question.
Hey, Matt Morrow Stadium on the right.
If you know somebody, let me know.
I agree with what he said. Matt Morrow Stadium. Yeah.
Absolutely not.
Or the Pep Bowl or something, yeah.
Let's talk about that after the show.
I remember, though, Pep, I had some great basketball players, and Adidas wanted to sponsor a whole basketball program, but CMS would not let us do it because the county AD at that time, Big Hamilton, said we shouldn't be special getting stuff other teams are not getting. And so we couldn't accept full sponsorship now. Save Olympic a lot of money.
Yeah.
But we couldn't do it because she said it's not fair on the other schools. Well, so what? It's not fair. They don't have the players that I had.
Yeah, and
That's
to
not
your
my
point, that goes back to when Knox and those guys at
Yeah.
Independent were winning all those games, and similar stuff opportunities were coming to them, and
Mhm.
they were not allowed to do it.
Nope.
You're exactly right, Coach.
And
You're exactly right.
Put Coach Simmons' comment up there.
Yeah, I was getting to it. Yep.
Because he's 100% right.
Yep.
There's some idiots out here, and that's why we can't have nothing nice.
That's facts.
Wow.
It's some of them idiots still practicing in the summer with pads on. We know.
Well, all right then. This has been a spicy show tonight.
I like it.
We like spice, man. We like spice.
It's a lot of spice in the air, boy. Okay.
Hey man, we're going for an hour and 10, not 40 minutes.
Well, woo, boy. Yeah, I'm with you, Tatum. All right, let's talk about these week 3 games. First of all, we got an interesting game. We got Irmo coming up to play Butler. Aaron Brand coming back to his old stomping grounds in Charlotte with a very good Irmo team led by his son at quarterback, AJ Brand. And we know where Butler is right now. Butler lost to Richmond last week, was 26-7, and they're 0-2, and they're getting ready to face a team that is going to be very motivated to not only put on a show in front of a lot of people they know, but we know there is some history between the coaches here. So, thoughts on Irmo and Butler? Okay.
That's gonna be a good game. I mean, it's one of those where, like you say, Coach Brand is back. He's back in Charlotte, and a lot of people that is outside looking in, but don't know. Coach Brand he built that legacy at Chambers before he left. That the Butler coaches is now there. Coach Furby and those guys was able to just take on after he left. So it's kind of like a Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr type thing where people forget that Brand is the one who started all that, got the tradition there. Those kids came in to play with him, and then those coaches at Butler was able to just, benefit off something he started. The foundation was laid, as it's told to me. And then so it's one of those where, it's a good stepping stone. I mean, he left. Coach Brand left, went to Irmo, built something there. Now he's able to come back home to Charlotte and coaching with his son. I think that's the bigger thing too. He has his son at the helm of the attack. So that'd be a good, I think that'd be a good game. A lot of respect they got to be earned in that game.
Real good team. I think Irmo was 13-1
last year, I believe so. Yeah,
really good.
Right.
So. But I just like the matchup, man. I like anytime we get a good South Carolina school and a Charlotte school mixing up. I like it, man.
Yep.
And I think with Irmo, with Coach Brand, like Coach Brand been in the shadow of a lot of football in this area. I don't think Coach Brand get the credit he deserves. You got to think he's a Tommy Knox guy, right?
Yeah.
And the question would be, and I'm not sure of the answer, but how many state championships did Malik Creek win without Brand?
I believe the answer is 0.
No.
Think about it.
I feel pretty confident in that.
He's been behind a lot of these programs, and obviously he's my mentor. But I just don't think he get the credit he deserved, man.
He was at Malik Creek too when they was winning.
Yeah,
he was OC.
He's been behind. Look, he's the boogeyman behind a lot of these programs. I'm telling you.
And I'm gonna tell y'all something. When I was
wherever he goes, basically, that's what you're saying.
Yep.
I was at Myers Park in 2011. We played him in the state quarterfinals, and we were down 7-3 at halftime. They were struggling, and that was back. If y'all remember, those that were here remember that was the time when Malik Creek couldn't get over the hump, and they kept tripping up in the playoffs, and they were having one of those kind of games, and we felt like we were in it, and they were running their spread stuff, and they just weren't clicking, And Aaron Brand came out in the second half, and they were big. They were huge. And all he did was get into a wildcat, and they just pounded us. They pounded us into submission. And that coaching change, I think, is what really kind of, got those guys over the hump to realize if we're struggling, we need to change gears and do what we do best and just find a way to win the football game.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the best thing I can say about him from a coaching standpoint. He doesn't care how it looks. He's going to find a way, to win the games. When he was at Vance, when he was there, it was Vance. And, me and producer, would cover their games a lot, especially when they were getting to the playoffs. I remember when at the state championship game when they lost to Wake Forest. And they lost in one of the worst ways possible on the safety. I mean, I have never seen a game end that way. And I was standing there at midfield, and they shook hands, and Aaron Brand came up to me and just started crying in my arms. And he was just so emotional. He wanted it so bad. He wanted to be the one to get that program over the hump. And I know to this day it still eats at him. And
it was a horrible touchdown call back. So just to make it even worse.
Yeah, there was in that game. Absolutely. That was Power Eccles on a fake punt. Yeah, sure was. So, just for those reasons alone, the emotion that's going to be in this game is going to be something else. Thank you there, Coach. Appreciate that. And they won 2 without Brand, and the second with Cox, and the third was with I remember Garcia. Yeah, good deal. All right. Let's see. Well, Coach Akers, we'll let everybody read that. I can't read all that.
Hey, while people are reading that Mark Jackson, Steve Kerr graphic, we go crazy, by the way.
Oh yeah, absolutely. So I mean, there's 2 sides to it, and I think we're getting to the other side of it is when Ferb came in and took it to the next level and got over the hump and won the state championship. So it's not a thing where one didn't do this and one didn't do that. I think both coaches and both staffs were successful in doing it the ways they needed to get it done. Before Brand was at Vance was not a championship program. I mean, they were a 6 to 7 win team, year in and year out. I think they had 1 or 2 good years under Curly Serto, who was there, but then that there were coaching changes, and they weren't on that level. So I think there's equal credit that has to be given to both sides for what they've done with that school. All we're saying is there was one side that took it to another level, and then the next side came in and took it to the highest level. So there's credit on both sides, and no one is, saying that one side is better or the other. Mm-hmm. What we're talking about is the matchup here that's happening on Friday night, and it's going to be, emotionally charged because, things have been said about, who's responsible for this and that. And I think both sides played a very essential role for the success that happened at Chambers / Vance. So,
because Pep, kids and Akers, I'm pretty sure you'll agree with this. When Brand came, he made it cool to come to Vance. And they took it to the next level. And salute out to those coaches, because they did a phenomenal job. And no one's taking any credit away from you guys, because y'all coached y'all ass off. I've been consistent saying y'all had one of the best staffs that came out this area in the last 10 years. So salute to y'all. But what we're saying is Brand started that program. Like he made it cool to go to Vance. He made it cool to go to Chambers. And kids wasn't transferring to Chambers. It was Malik Creek and Huff. And somehow he built it, and y'all took it to the next level.
Mm-hmm.
That being said, on Friday night, where the two programs are, Irmo's in a really good spot, to pick up a big win. There it is. All right. Tim Pride also saying, don't forget Brand almost took down Independence at West Charlotte. Great game at Memorial Stadium. I do remember when Brand was at West Charlotte. Yeah. That's a forgotten fact right there, Tim. That's good stuff. Man, there's a lot on this show today. Providence Day is taking on Charlotte Catholic. Big game for Providence Day. They were scheduled to play Asheville last week, but of course, with the weather, that game got canceled. Going in to play a Charlotte Catholic team who was scheduled to play Northern Durham. And that game got canceled for a different reason, because Northern Durham said they couldn't play because they had too many players that got hurt. So that one kind of flew under the radar, duck and smoke. But
hey, I was about to say something.
Did they still have 11? Did they have 11?
We should have led with that game.
Yeah, that would have been good. But.
Yeah, I got some personal information on that one, so I'll keep that.
I
guess.
All right. Well, it's going to be an interesting after-show conversation. But thoughts on Providence State taking on Charlotte Catholic?
I think a lot of this is going to be with home field. I think Catholic plays extremely well at home. Some people may say laundry on the field has a lot to do with it, but the guys in the striped shirts when they play at Catholic. But I don't know if Providence Day has rebounded a lot, man. I'm not sold, because the studs that they got, they're like Travis Henry. They played the whole game. And it showed in the first game at Memorial. Those guys got tired and dogged out a little bit, man.
I think they played well. I don't think that was normal for them. I think they only played both ways because of who they played.
Exactly, and they're going to have to do it here too. I mean, that's the way it is going to be for them all season in the independent school schedule. There are certain games they're going to have, be able to take off. But a game like Charlotte Catholic, they can't take off plays because their bench is not up to par right now.
Well, the last time Providence Day went to Charlotte Catholic, it was a classic game. Providence Day was able to win that game at with a late touchdown.
That was the last second touchdown when it was 21.
Yeah. Catholic had a great game plan. They ran the ball. They played solid defense. They kept everything in front of them, and they made Providence Day earn it and beat them. And I think they're going to have a similar game plan now, because they're back in the wing T. They're back to grinding it. They're back to being physical. We had the Fijelkowski twins on the show last week playing great defense. And if Providence State comes in here and they're not on their A game, like against Weddington, then I think it's going to be a 4-quarter game. For Catholic, it's the same formula that they had 2 years ago. And they could, walk out of here with a potential victory if they play to their standard. If they're able to get a push on the offensive line, those big guys up front, they want to be physical. They want to run the football. If they're able to do that consistently, hold the ball, keep Providence Day off the field offensively, they got a shot.
Yeah. Like that first game Providence Day had, they blew that team out, and those guys got a lot of rest. But I just can't see them in big games like this. And, against Weddington, those guys, they were a little tired.
I think Providence Day bounced back like Huff did. I think they make it. Yes, I think they make a statement.
Oh, wow. Okay.
I'm standing on that. I don't see any team in the state beating Providence State. I mean, them losing twice. I don't see it. Weddington was a toss-up because of the matchup. I was their first time playing competitive, but I don't see Providence State losing 2 games in a row. That's not happening. Statement game.
Oh, statement game. Okay.
Statement game.
All right. Well, the Big I is going on the road. This is an interesting game here, and I know I'm glad this was able to get worked out. This was a big thing over the summer, but Independence is playing Charlotte Christian. I think a third party is responsible for the game. I can't remember who it is, but this is an interesting matchup right here. We got one of the best, public teams in the area taking on, one of the best private teams. A lot of people think Christian's the second best private team, I would say, in the state. to be honest with you. So, thoughts on Indy and Charlotte Christian?
Hey, cuz, was that a replacement game? That wasn't in your schedule.
All right. Well, Karen Belk says tickets for the Indy at Christian game. Get them through the Christian website. That's Charlotte Christian website. Click on the menu, athletics, and then tickets are cheaper than CMS. $5. Oh, that's a good deal.
Wow.
Okay.
That's old school price, old school football price.
Hey, pull up what Miss Belk said next. Because cuz can't say it.
Okay, so yeah, this is the replacement game for West Charlotte. This was the week that Indy and West Charlotte were scheduled to play initially, and then they had to find another opponent. So that's why this game's happening. But it's to producer's point about North Carolina, South Carolina games. I love seeing public-private games because it's rare, especially this late in the season. It's usually like a week one thing where you're able to get this. But
so what's the opposite of duck and smoke? Embracing smoke? when you go find a good team, when you need a game and you go find a really good team, we need a term.
That's what you call
smoke.
Inhaling the smoke.
There you go. There you go. There you go.
All right, we gotta call it something else.
I like it, yeah. We need an official term for the opposite. You go find a good team.
Yes, sir.
Look, Orange sharpened his arm. Shout out to Charlotte Christian for not ducking smoke.
Yep.
Embrace it. I think this matchup right here is intriguing because you got talent on both sides. I think this might be the game of the week. I mean,
man. Without some effort, you just would never see this. You would never see this game without a lot of effort put in. So I like it.
I think I'm looking at stats, man. They got a guy had 162 yards against Cox Mill. I don't know how good Cox Mill is, but Christian had a guy with 162 on them.
Yeah, Jamal Rule at running back is, and this is a great matchup of running backs. That was the note I was gonna, lead with was Jamal Rule, state's leading rusher last year against Jaden Jones, one of the top rushers in the state. So if you like running the football, this is a game that you are definitely gonna want to try to get over to.
Did you say the best running back in the state?
Don't do it, cuz. I'm your lawyer. Don't do it. Don't do it. Don't say anything.
I said the state's leading rusher last season, Jamal Rule, by yardage.
And then you said Jane Jones, the best running back in the state?
I said one of the best running backs in the
state. Cuz hey, don't even respond. But you know what the intriguing matchups is? These are two really well coached teams.
Yes.
I'd like to see the chess match between Coach McFadden and his staff and the coach of Charlotte Christian, because you got
that's
both
Coach James. Yeah.
Coach James is well polished staffs, man. I mean, he's former NFL players, former college athletes. I mean, it's a beautiful thing. I think this is going to come down to, great players on both sides, great coaches. I think this is the game of the week.
Yeah.
Right. And Christian's a cool place to watch a game if you've never been over there. It's kind of a little off the road, and they got some trees in the background. But anyway, you just got to go check it out. If you don't know where to go Friday, go to Charlotte Christian.
I think this is, from a coaching standpoint, this is a win-win for the Christian coaches to play a team of Independence caliber. Set them up for the rest of the year, because when they get in the playoffs in Independent school, it's going to be tough. And I think this is hopefully a setup game for the kids in the future.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. All right, Shelby and Crest. This is a big game in Cleveland County. I do know Zayflix is going to be out there, so there'll be some great highlights coming from this game. Big Eye. What you got?
Yeah, man. Shelby and Crest, man. One of the biggest rivalries in the state, if not the biggest, depending on where you're from. I think year to year, man, it's one of the biggest games in the state. Obviously, the years when we're both dominant in our classification, which is pretty much every year, it draws big numbers. I think this year the games at Crest. I think both teams got something to prove. I think Crest is looking at it from a standpoint of they had to replace so much offensively with Javaris Green, Malachi Addison, and AJ Adams. And you have a Shelby team who wants respect because of what they have. Even though the Shelby team is young, they want their respect. We knocked off Kings Mountain first week. Crest knocked off Burns. So, it's just the other two county games that you want to see. So I think it's gonna be good. I'm always cheering for the guys, but I'm not cheering for the green and yellow with the eye on the side. I'm cheering for the black and gold down there in Shelby, man. So, man, I like Shelby in this game, man. I think Shelby, people sleep on them. But it's all right. I think
Who is sleeping on y'all?
People in the county, man. I think they look at it. I think the biggest thing that people do, they judge you off a loss, but they don't judge you off who you're playing. They just look at, you lost. And
they lost AC Reynolds,
but AC Reynolds is a top team in 4A. They don't get a lot of credit because they're in the mountains, so you don't really hear about them. But those AC Reynolds coaches and players, they're good at what they do. But Shelby and Crest, man, it's gonna be action packed. Families, the schools, we only about 4 miles apart. You're gonna have cousins playing against each other, friends playing against each other, all type of big family atmosphere is gonna be. And I'm excited for my young guys that I coach and have developed and known from over the years get their chance to play in the game for the first time as freshmen and sophomores.
Yeah, so if you're going to this game, get there early. Are they doing the 50-50?
I don't know if Crest is doing it. I haven't seen it.
Okay.
They normally do it 50. I haven't seen it a lot this year. You got a different coach.
Got you. The 50-50 a couple years ago was in like the $40,000 to $50,000 range. So if you guys if you find out they're doing the 50-50, let me know. I'll give you the money for a ticket.
I think Shelby's kind of young this year, isn't it?
Well, they're young at receiver. Starting 3 sophomores and 1 senior. Quarterback's a junior. Running back's a senior. Tristan Tate, he's a senior. Offensive line wise, I believe starting a freshman at center. They're kind of young on defense. Got a sophomore corner, I think a junior, senior corner. But they're mature in the right areas, and I think where they lack at experience, the coaching staff will play a part. So.
Y'all think Charlotte's bad up there? You probably got people living across the street or next door to each other, going to different schools.
Yep, that is true.
It's amazing up there, man. And I think at Crest is going to be huge. At home crowd, it's just something about it. You know that just every year, just something about that home crowd that kind of takes a team over the top to win a game.
So Slime Ball says the 50-50 is next week against Cal. I won't say that part. It's against God, they're not that little.
That's a good old 3A matchup from back in the day.
It sure is. All right. Armani Bird wants us to talk about Clover and Palisades, but we will get the Clover and Palisades here in a second, Armani. Hang tight. All right, so I assume Coach Dub will be back here in a minute, but we're gonna go ahead and talk about some week 3 predictions, and then we'll get I think he's coming back. So I didn't get a chance to tally the records. I think some games we picked didn't get played, so we'll just count this as the first week of predictions. We'll do it that way. It'll be easier. All right, so. Coach Dub, you good? All right, I think he's good. All right, so here we go. We got week 3 predictions coming down the line. Palisades at Clover. I'll go first on this one. I think I'm going to take Clover. Big Eye.
I'll take Clover.
Coach Tatum.
Clover.
Producer.
I'm gonna go Clover also.
Coach Davis.
Clover.
Coach Dub.
Clover.
A clean sweep for the Blue Eagles. Oh boy. All right, Hopewell at Berry. We'll start in the middle. Producer.
Hopewell.
Coach Davis.
Hopewell.
Coach Dub.
Hopewell.
I will take Hopewell as well. Big Eye.
Hopewell.
Coach Tatum.
Hopewell.
Clean sweep for the Titans. Oh boy. All right. Providence Day at Charlotte Catholic. Coach Dub, since you stepped out on the limb, we'll let you go first.
Hey, I'm sick of I'm hanging on a heavy branch. Providence Day all day long. Let's go Providence Day.
I'm gonna take Charlotte Catholic in an upset. Big Eye.
I'm gonna take Charlotte Catholic.
Coach Tatum.
I am going Catholic.
Woo! Producer.
I think I'm gonna go Catholic also.
Woo! Coach Davis.
Catholic.
Oh, Coach Dub. Not yourself.
Hey, I'm gonna get this dub. I'm telling you, easy money, easy work.
All right. Wow. Ashbrook at West Meck. Big Eye.
Rise Tide, baby, Ashbrook.
Coach Tatum.
Ashbrook.
Producer.
Saw him in person. I'm gonna go out with West Meck, man, because I've seen him.
Hawk Pride. Coach Davis.
I'm gonna do a West Meck also.
Coach Dub.
Hey, Gaston County strong. Let's go, Ashbrook.
Oh.
I'm gonna
Coach,
take.
where'd you go to high school in Gaston County? You went to high school in Gaston
You
County?
went to West Charlotte, man.
Oh,
I did go to West Charlotte either. So the thing is, I
Cuz, what school you go to, Cuz? We don't need a story.
stop.
I'm taking Ashbrook. All right, moving on.
We went to Corvian.
Oh man.
Now I gotta cut this.
Tell them what school you went to, man. You're beating around the bush.
Marvin
Mount-
Ridge
Mount-
and
Mount-
Archie Kill. I will take Archie Kill. Big Eye.
I'll say RG Kell.
Coach Tatum.
Marvin Ridge.
Producer.
RG Kell.
Coach Davis.
AK all the way.
All right, Coach Dub.
AK.
All right, NFL season starts Sunday. We got to get some support behind our boys, the Carolina Panthers, going down to New Orleans to take on the New Orleans Saints. I'm taking the Carolina Panthers to go 1-0.
See y'all.
Big Eye.
Hey, mute Washington. Mute him.
No,
Big Eye.
we terrible too.
Big Eye.
S-A-I-N-T-S, Saints. I ain't going for no trash.
What
Panthers.
the heck, man? Coach Tatum.
Hey, Ravens on top tomorrow night over the Chiefs, but I'm gonna go Saints.
Producer.
You know who producer like? He's a Panther guy.
We're gonna give him a clean slate, man. I'm gonna go Panthers.
There you go.
Every
Coach
year y'all
Davis.
do it to yourself, man. Every year.
Every year, cuz. And then they're gonna kick us off the show
Coach Davis.
next week when we talking junk about it.
We will.
I gotta go with the Saints too.
I just seen something where they said the Panthers was ranked 32nd in the
Coach
league.
Dub.
That's high for
Told
Who you
you.
picking, Coach Dub?
him. Okay, listen. So my fantasy.
We ain't got no Panthers or Saints.
If you don't answer, then it's Panthers.
He's
No,
talking about
it's
the
the
fantasy team.
Saints.
My
Okay,
fantasy
thank
team.
you.
Hey, look, I went and got the Saints defense.
Right.
Remember
That's what
on
you
Friday
get.
Night Live, every Friday night at 11:45 on these same outlets. Remember, whatever you post is what we talk about. We have scores, commentary, interviews, and much more. Make sure you come and join us. Now it is that time for slime time, and I should slime all y'all, but I'm not gonna do it. Let's see who wants to go first on slime time. Oh, you know what? I'm gonna choose myself. Okay, So first of all, I want to address this right now. I went to 3 games this past week or whatever it was, and I heard some of the stupidest things from fans. I swear to goodness, you guys say some of the most ridiculous crap in the stands. I mean, I heard things like, "What would you do in Madden?" And then you're calling, the other team different curse words. This is high school football, man, and these are kids out here. And these coaches go out here and do the best they can. And the ignorance that is coming from the stands is ridiculous. If you ain't got nothing to positive to say, shut up. Just shut up, because it's stupid and it's borderline. And not borderline. It is disrespectful. And you're making yourself look like an idiot. And I challenge schools, when you hear this stuff, go and tell these guys you got one warning. You say something else crazy, you're gone. That's it. We got to start getting rid of this stuff, man. This stuff is being allowed way too much, and we're focusing on stuff that doesn't make any sense. Like, we're so restrictive now on certain things, but we let these fans come in here and say the most disrespectful and ignorant stuff to kids and coaches, and I'm tired of it. Schools, stand up and be strong for your players and for your coaches. Back them up. Kick these guys out, man. That's enough, man. All right, producer, who you want to slime tonight?
You know what? We talked about this, and I usually don't. I usually like to be original, but I'm gonna double down on that same thing, man. I would say, just the people in general, whether they parents or not, or just fans, that if you think or feel that you're just such a brilliant football mind, then join the staff. Mm-hmm. If you think you can coach your son better than the staff he's playing for, join the staff. Show that head coach how it's done. Take your football knowledge out there and show it. Coaches are always needed, and I don't say that in a sarcastic manner. If you think you can help better a team, then join them. Same thing with refs. New refs are always welcome, always needed. If you think you can ref a game better than the refs out there, show them. Show them how it's done. Other than that, if you don't think you can do better, then let them do their job. And then on top of that, like a lot of things we hear at these games, we go to a lot of games. Some of this stuff y'all yelling out is not even making sense. It doesn't even make football it's not logical from a football sense. So not only are you yelling, but you're yelling things out there that don't make sense. So I say 2 things. Either join the refs, join a coaching staff, or let those guys work in peace.
I'm glad you said that about the refs, too, because there was a lot of derogatory stuff said to refs, and that was ridiculous. And then stuff that doesn't make sense. I'll reference this one specifically. Got down to the 6-yard line, and the offensive team had the ball, and they were in the shotgun, and they fumbled it. The kid dropped the snap. And someone in the crowd said, "Why are you running trick plays on the goal line?" Mind you, this team's in shotgun every play throughout the game. It's like, shut up. Just shut up, man. Coach Dub, who you want to slime tonight?
I'm actually y'all motivated me. I'm going to triple down on what y'all just said about the fans. I went to a game on Saturday. Went to go and support my little cousin. He was playing for a team, and obviously the game got moved to Saturday. We didn't have a game. I was going out there as a supporter because I don't get a chance to watch him play. Sat on the visitor side just because I didn't want to draw attention. Didn't have any of my school gear on, was real low key in street clothes. And as we leaving out, me and my coach were sitting there at the fence because it was only one way out, so we had to go through the home side. And we're sitting on the fence because we wanted to kind of see the play, we wanted to see the half finish out. And some woman walked past us and said, "Hey, what are y'all doing here, recruiting?" And I'm like, "Come on, man. Like, we can't be. We're human. Like, I'm a football coach, but I also like watching football." And especially I like to support my family members and also former players that I coach. And we were just out there as honest fans, and you get that stuff. And obviously we didn't really pay no attention to it, but it's sad.
Can't do nothing no more, man. Can't do nothing. Big Eye, who you want to slime this week?
Well, I'm going to get my slime out the way. This slime may be continuous for the next 16 weeks or 17 weeks of the regular season.
Get him, cuz. Get him, cuz.
I'm gonna go ahead and slime all y'all Carolina Panthers fans.
Get him. Get him, cuz.
Get your hopes up early. I'm gonna slime you below 500.
Everybody say good night to the big eye.
You can't mute him, baby. You can't mute him.
Have a good night, sir.
Right. The Eagles ain't never played a game in Shelby.
It's terrible. Absolutely terrible. We will not tolerate this year.
Oh God.
Hey, Pep, I believe in y'all.
Nah, kick him out. That was sarcasm. You didn't boot him, man.
Y'all gonna fit maybe one win.
Is there some kind of admin privileges I can have to boot Washington when I want to?
Everybody say good night to Coach Dub. It's been great having you on the show tonight. That's two.
Right. There we go.
Coach Tatum, who you want to slime this week?
I'm not going to quadruple down on what y'all said, but I do agree with everything you said about stupid comments from the stands. But I'm a slime. So I'm a State fan, NC State. Follow it there. I'm not going to slime State because we won, but I'm going to slime the ACC conference. We're bad. We're bad. And I hate to say it because I grew up watching ACC football, ACC basketball. You know, it's part of who I am. It's part of, obviously, this region. And from what we've seen from Clemson, I mean, I know it's from Georgia. And they got blown out by Georgia. And Florida State, they still, I mean, they're 0-2, and they don't know what's going on. And just bad play from Virginia Tech losing to Vanderbilt. Give me a break. So ACC ball's down right now. It might be good for State, be able to maybe get up there and win the championship. But it ain't looking good for ACC football, and hope it gets better. Probably won't, but here's hoping.
Yeah, that's a good one. Absolutely, that's a good one. All right, Coach Davis, who you want to slime this week?
Man, first of all, shout out NFL season's up tomorrow night. Check out the Ravens and the Chiefs. My nephew's starting linebacker for the Ravens, Trent Simpson. Malik Creek brought up, Clemson brought up. So he's number 23 this year, so check him out. But I'm going to slime the Clemson Tigers and Dabo Swinney. Get with the times, Coach. If you don't want the NIL and you don't want a transfer portal, you're doing your kids a disservice. The ones who do come there and expect the team to get better through transfer portal and NILs. But you don't want it, so you're going to suffer. They've been suffering the last 2 or 3 years, been on a decline because of his stubbornness not to embrace NIL and transfer portals. And it's only going to get worse. That's like an NFL team saying, we don't want to go into free agency to get players. We're just going to use the players that we draft every year. Well, that's garbage. And so Clemson will be garbage unless Dabo Swinney becomes unstubborn and embraces the NIL for his players and the transfer portal in order for his team to be better and competitive.
All right, that's well said. I can't disagree with you at all. We went way over tonight. I appreciate everybody that's still here and watches the show. If you didn't see the whole show, please go back and watch. There was a lot of energy on the show tonight. Thank everybody for watching. On behalf of the whole crew, I'm the Pepman, Matt Morrow. See you later. We'll be out at games on Friday. If you see us, make sure you say hello. Thank you to the people that said hello this weekend, and people that have requested us to be at certain games. We're going to do our best to be at those games. So have a good week, everyone. Friday Night Live. We'll catch you 11:45 Friday night. Have a good one.